Welcome to my cozy little corner of the internet, and today I want to talk about my 10 before the end. I have a list of 10 books that I would love to get to before the end of 2025. My TBR is a little different and a little strange because I primarily listen to audio and read on my Kindle, so I don't have a lot of unread books on my TBR. So the unlimited library of the world is kind of what I'm picking from. So my TBR tends to change because I'm a mood reader. These are 10 books that I really want to prioritize, and so having this list and being able to look back at it will definitely help. So yeah, this is my 10 before the end. So I think the majority of these are fantasy, but the main one on my list that's not fantasy that I actually have it right now. I have the audio right now, but I have so many fantasy books that I'm trying to get through first. But this one is Shuggie Bain. So this, I believe, won the Booker Prize in 2020, and it's been on my radar for a while because I read Demon Copperhead, and that became my favorite book in the whole wide world. I love that book, and I love the narrative voice of that book. Through some searching and through some reviews, I have found that Shuggie Bain kind of has a similar narrative. It's also from the mom's point of view, but you also get kind of the kid's point of view. And from what I'm gathering, it is a story that's set in Ireland that is following Shuggie and his mother, the trials and tribulations of their life. I heard that it's kind of like Little Life in the way that it's sad. I heard that it will make you cry, and I know it just explores marriage and the themes of life. I don't know. It sounds really good. I listened to a little bit of it, and the lyrical style, or I guess the style of the writing, is definitely up my alley. That is Shuggie Bain. I wanted to go into order, but I'll just do my other non-fantasy book, and then the rest is fantasy, and I'm just gonna go into whatever order is on this list. So the next one, this is actually one I do have the physical of. I only really have 5 or 6 books on my shelf that are unread, and I'm I'll get to them when I get to them, but this is one that I actually meant to read when I bought, and then I just didn't, and that's Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This is definitely on the literary side of book talk. This is definitely a booktube darling, a book talk book. I heard about this book a while. I love Shakespeare, and apparently this book is about, without naming his name, this is about Shakespeare's son and wife, the loss of his son and the loss of her son, because I think it's more following the wife and the kid than it is Shakespeare. I don't know, something about that setting, and I heard the writing. I have listened to the very beginning of this, and it really feels like it's up my alley. It is being adapted with Paul Mescal, which looks phenomenal. Yeah, at this point, I just feel like this is a book I should have already read, and I am tired of adding it to list, so I just need to get through this. So yeah, Hamnet. We have entered the fantasy territory. 3 books are all of Joe Abercrombie's standalones. I read his first Law trilogy last year, and then on my 2025 TBR, I did a 25 for 25, I put all of his standalones. So I read his original first trilogy, and then last year, then I was gonna read his standalones this year, and then next year I want to prioritize the Age of Madness series. Sad to say that it is 2 months until the end of the year, and I have not touched any of his standalones. I don't really know how that happened, to be honest. I have one of them on audio already, so it's there when it's time. Yeah, so the standalones are Best Served Cold, which is his revenge. It kind of reminds me of Kill Bill, Kill Bill, but with a band of misfits revenge story. honestly seems very much up my alley. The other one is The Heroes, and then Red Country. I don't really know too much about the other two, but the First Law trilogy was really good. I really like Joe Abercrombie's like dry humor, and I like what he does with fantasy tropes. He really plays around with fantasy tropes and like what we're used to seeing. His books are just so unique, and as far as like fantasy goes, the tone of his books are unique, and what he decides to do with his stories are unique. I don't know, I really enjoy being in his worlds, so I'm just doing whatever I can to just keep chugging along his bibliography. So yeah, the next ones are gonna be those standalone. Next, I kind of put this on my list because I knew I want to read something very wintry that kind of feels like a fairy tale in the like winter time, and I found this one called The Foxwife. It's been on my radar for a while, but it wasn't something I prioritized. But when I was kind of thinking about the 10 books I wanted to read, and there being like a wintry book I wanted to read, this just kept popping up in my brain. I don't know the exact synopsis of this one. I just know that there is a like magical fox, and I know it's set in like the 1900s, and I know it's like Chinese mythology if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna read the description because I don't really know too much about it. It's just the cover got me, and then the like fairy tale-esque got me. Some people think foxes are similar to ghosts because we go around collecting QI. But nothing could be further than the truth. We are living creatures just like you, only usually better looking. Matura, 1908. In the last years of the dying queen emperor, a courtesan is found frozen in a doorway. Her death is clouded by rumors of foxes, which are believed to lure people by transforming themselves into beautiful women and handsome men. Bao, a detective with an uncanny ability to sniff out the truth, is hired to uncover the dead woman's identity. Since childhood, Bao has been intrigued by fox gods, yet they're remained tantalizingly out of reach, until perhaps now. Meanwhile, a family who owns a famous Chinese medicine shop can cure ailments, but can't escape the curse that affects them. Their eldest son dies before their 24th birthdays, when a disruptively winsome servant named Snow enters their household. The family's luck seems to change, or does it? I'm just gonna stop there. There's a murder mystery. It's got like fox gods, super wintry. I don't know. It sounds really good though. So that's the Foxwife. This next one is one that I am going to get into very soon, and this is The Forgotten Beasts of Eld. So this author, Patricia A. McClip, this is an author that I've seen quite a bit of her books floating around on like the side of like book talk that I kind of look at. I love very lyrical fantasies and like very like magical fairy tale-esque vibe. I don't know. I love it. I eat it up. And I feel like that's just, I need to really deep dive into that genre. And this is a author that, oh my god, her covers are so pretty. I cannot even get into how pretty her covers are, and I just feel like there's something deep down in my soul that feels like her books are going to be perfect for me, and I'm going to read one and want to keep going. So the first one I definitely want to start with is The Forgotten Beasts of Eld. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is about a girl named, I believe, Sable, about a woman, girl. She's 16 and she finds a baby. Like, she lives separate and isolated, I believe, like in the mountains. And I believe she has like magic, and she like lives by herself, isolated, and a baby just appears like at her doorstep, and it's just about like her raising this child. And like, yeah, I heard it's very lyrical. I heard her reading is very like her writing is very thought-provoking. I don't know, something about the combination of like thought-provoking lyrical writing with like fairy tale-esque creatures. Yeah, I don't know if she raises the child, but I know that something goes on and it kind of like flips her world upside down, basically. I heard her writing's very lyrical, and the combination of like thought-provoking lyrical like fantasy really, really speaks to me. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna absolutely love her books, so I'm definitely desperately trying to get to that one, and that was Forgotten Beast of Elves. I completely forgot about this book when I was doing non-fantasy, but I guess we'll jump a little bit. We'll do horror. The Shining. I have been reading a lot of Stephen King recently. I think I'm on my 3rd Stephen King. Time flies, I can't remember. I think it's 3. This would be my 4th. I really want to read The Shining. I absolutely love that movie. I know they're very different, but something makes me think that because of how much I love the movie, just like more deep dive into that, it'll make me love the book. Also, when I think like winter, I really think about The Shining. There's something about winter in The Shining, because obviously winter hotel, the vibes. So yeah, if you don't know anything about The Shining, it is about a family who goes and lives in a hotel over like the winter, and they become caretakers of this hotel. Basically, stuff ensues because of this hotel. It's Stephen King. It's tension, it's horror, it's well-written horror, and that's really all I need to know. But I think at this point, most people know what The Shining is about. So yeah, that's The Shining. So second to last, we have back to fantasy, Second Death of Locke. At this point, you cannot escape BookTube without someone bringing up how they want to read this book. It just came out, and it honestly looks phenomenal. We are having another trend cycle currently of medieval, but specifically Lady Knight fantasy, which I'm all here for. This is, I believe, a queer fantasy romance that is following a knight and her mage, and I heard it's like yearning galore. I heard it's like, I don't know if it's a quest-based story, but pretty much all I know is I know it's queer, I know the yearning's amazing, and I heard the plot's actually pretty good, and it's a good balance when it comes to fantasy and romance. And I'm just so here for it. Medieval fantasy has always been something that I gravitate towards, and it's something I really enjoy. And Lady Knights, yes, of course. So that's definitely on my list. It's on like everyone's list at the moment. I gotta get to that, and I'm trying to get to it before I start seeing everyone's opinion, so I can just have my own opinion. But yeah, that is The Second Death of Locke. The last book on my 10 before the end is, this book has been on my radar for so long, and it's been floating in my brain, and I finally got it on audio, so it's time. This is also one that I'm probably gonna start this month as well. I have a vlog coming out reading anthropomorphic animals, or like anthropomorphic fantasy like of animals, and I'm gonna get to that at some point, film that. But this is Redwall. So Redwall is a series, I believe, from the like early 2000s, and it's an anthropomorphic high fantasy. Like, think Game of Thrones, but with like animals. Which, I mean, yes. I count how many times I say anthropomorphic, but I love anthropomorphic animals. That was kind of gibberish, but I love them. I love seeing different takes on it, but specifically the whole idea of like a high fantasy with like mice and badgers is like the coziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, and I am down. It's a long series, but I kind of talked about this in my October wrap up. I kind of fell down a rabbit hole of like fantasy series, like YA and middle grade, and I think this one might be considered middle grade, but I think it's one of those middle grades where it's like leaning towards YA because of the subject matter, I believe. but YA and middle grade fantasy series that I feel like a lot of my generation and a lot of people younger than me have just completely forgotten about. And me loving fantasy so much, I've realized that I really like books that are a little bit older because I love the writing style of books written in like the 90s and 2000s. And then also if you can find an audiobook that sounds like it's from like the 90s or the 2000s, I don't know what it is, but it's so cozy. So I have the first and second one, and the first one's set in summer, but the second one is set in like fall to winter. So I'm trying to hurry up and read the first one so that I can read the second one in this season, because I just feel like it's gonna be so cozy. I don't know. And it also has a show. It has a show that I might watch as well, just for fun, like in the background. The animation style looks so good. I don't know. This has been speaking to me for a long time, and I'm hoping to finally get to it as well. So that is Redwall. That was my 10 before the end. 10 books that I want to finish before the end of 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope maybe you took some inspiration. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment of what books you are hoping to get to before the end of 2025. And yeah, thanks. Bye.